Tell us about this facility that you're working at.
I think the facility was built around 2015. They began construction and breaking ground on the studio and kiln area of the Cobb Mountain Arts and Ecology project. Scott bought the property in 2000 from a logger, and has been working on kind of replenishing the ecosystem here and kind of bringing back natural indigenous plant life to it, which is one of the other aspects and goals of this facility. I found Cobb Mountain Arts and Ecology project through Facebook. I was friends with Scott Parody on Facebook, even though I hadn't met him yet. He had posted that he was developing this residency, and it looked interesting to me, and it was also tied to the opportunity to teach at Mendocino College. And I was seeking a new opportunity after my job in Santa Fe, New Mexico was kind of coming to a close.
How did you choose being a potter as a profession or a ceramicist as a profession?
I tried not to choose it. I grew up with my mom being a ceramic artist, and she was managing the Art Center of Waco's ceramic and studio program when I was growing up. So I loaded my first kiln when I was 8 and was exposed to ceramics at a very young age. However, when I hit the age of 13 or 14, like you do, you decide that you don't want anything to do with what your parents have done. And so I kind of tried to distance myself from that and ended up going to the University of North Texas for a painting and drawing degree in 1998. I didn't really fit into the painting and drawing program there, and tried to seek out other avenues for myself. I explored art therapy and art psychology. I also looked into printmaking and other programs around the country, and eventually just kind of dropped out of school for a little while, out of my undergrad program, and toured in bands around the country. And I think after the last tour that was like 3 months long, and spending that time in a van with 5 other guys, I decided if I'm going to be broke and poor, I'm going to do so on my own terms. And it really gave me a driving force to go back and finish my undergraduate degree, and then go directly into finishing up my master's degree. I went to grad school for specifically so that I could be an educator in the ceramic field, and I do get a lot of joy from leading or guiding those individuals through the clay process and seeing them being engaged by the problems that I set them up with, and how they solve those problems, and what type of exploration they get out of the technical skills that I give them. In regards to my work as vessels, being a vessel maker is really an interesting thing. I get to make, I have a background as a painter, so I get to make objects which are relatable in an everyday context. And one of the reasons that I keep coming back to making utilitarian items is that it's kind of almost a subversive way of getting a painting into somebody's life. So what I'm interested in with ceramics and pots in general is I want to make work that makes people wonder how it was made, and I want them to be able to engage with the work in such a way that they have the opportunity to kind of either read what I'm putting into it as a narrative, or kind of make up their own story and interpret my work and the narrative within that work. I'm interested in bringing in influences for myself that are outside of the realm of pottery, whether that be textiles, design, industrial design, architecture, or painting. All of those are very important to me in what I do, and I feel like they help me make work that isn't necessarily the typical pot that you would find at a craft fair. I think that the ceramic community has a tendency to be stronger and work together more, not only because the facilities that we need to make the work are a little bit more expensive and have a larger footprint a lot of the time than other crafts like painting or drawing or even printmaking, which you can kind of house pretty easily in a room in your house, whereas you might need like a couple $1,000 kiln, and whatever else, like other studio equipment your process may lend you to as a potter to make your work. In the case of Cobb Mountain Arts and Ecology Project, we're dealing with a lot of high fire kilns, which are wood-fired or gas-fired, and those definitely take a certain amount of space. They're more difficult to have like in a very urban environment, and so when you have those kilns provided, there tends to be a group of people who kind of surround that and then help with the firings, help fill up the kilns, help provide the wood, and then help maintain the facilities as well. Ceramics is interesting that it works both reductively and additively, and then you can also work just with stretching the form and the material that you already have. So it has this wide variety of things that you can do with it, and I think that it is also so receptive to touch. It's going to like tell like when you're being timid with it. It's going to be telling as to like when you're overly aggressive and angry with it, and you can see those marks, whether it's like just kind of like petting the clay with your finger and like being a little bit forceful but soft, or if you're like stabbing it with a tool and like gouging into it. There's a method called water etching where you paint lacquer onto the surface of the clay before you fire it, and then you wash away the clay that is not been lacquered. The lacquer will protect the surface from being dissolved, and so it creates a bas relief. Yeah,
Okay.
and you can do that with glazes as well. So you can put a glaze onto a pot and then protect that surface, wash away the rest of the glaze, let it dry, and then apply another glaze and kind of build up like these different layers. And then if you wanted to get even more detailed, you can cut through that protective layer and add more glaze or stain to that to kind of build up all of this information on the surface. Well, I should say within ceramic culture, it's generally, there's a lot of people who have a tendency to collect their friends' work and people's work that they admire. And you get to live with these objects. So I have my own personal collection, which is a lot of people that I know and a lot of people that I've met and a lot of people that I've worked with or look up to. That work becomes kind of a curated collection of my experiences and a surrogate, in a way, kind of a surrogate for those friends and those family that I'm away from while I'm kind of moving around the country.